Good morning and welcome from the allotment. It's Sunday and it's very early in the morning because yesterday it was so hot and I did not manage to get around to doing this video. We had also a very busy day as Nigel and I went to collect a swarm which somebody rescued and offered it to us. So now we are starting this tour from the apiary bed and I'm gonna do this sort of the other way around. So we are in the apiary bed, and behind the first hive we ever had is the deadwood hedge, and in fact whole of that space beyond those very tall stinging nettles is the deadwood hedge, and we're just adding onto it when we have any prunings. This is the hive. This is the little nook which we brought yesterday. The bees seems to be happy coming in and out, and they're making it permanent home. They're gonna stay there till they draw some frames, and then we shall move them to the main house for them, which is the hive underneath. So I'm gonna slowly turn around because I know how people don't like being kind of carted along. Now this is my Brassica bed. Well, it was going crazy, but it's now gone completely mental. So these are the kales, various kales. But before we actually go into that, let me just show you. I have to be careful how I walk because it's full of stinging nettles and I haven't got suitable shoes. So here is the space for the new polytunnel. Again, forest of everything behind that, and we will try to tame it a little bit. And through here, as you can see, is the path to go to the future permaculture sort of edible forest. So let me start again with the Brassica bed. So these are my kales, and they're going, I need to start actually harvesting it and giving it away. So we have at least 3 different varieties of kale here, and then there is some Cavallonero as well, but there is also kohlrabies, and I just want to show you quite a few of them, the purple top ones, and they all started to bulb up. So that's great. I did grow last year some normal white variety, and I love them. I remember them from my childhood, so there we go. And here we have a mixture of various brassicas, some cabbages, some there's some perpetual broccoli here, which I think might be that row. There's some broccoli which we harvested, but we're waiting for the shoots to mature, and then we might remove some of them. There is still some sprouting broccoli going on. Some cabbages hearting out. That's a row of cabbages. There is some Brussels sprouts for Christmas, and the Courgettes just have gone absolutely mental. Some of them are as tall as I am. So, especially that one at the edge. So, as we're walking along here, so that bed needs to be sorted out a little bit. And hopefully next year we do a proper Brassica bed because I just can't cope with that. And then we have the rhubarb. It's taken off suddenly. I still have some stuff to remove next to rhubarb, but it's not crucial at this point. And I'm pleased that both crowns have now sort of sprung into life. And this one is Fenton Special, and this one is Timperley Early. So both heads which were planted last autumn now establish themselves, and hopefully in a year we might take few rhubarb home. Now the strawberry bed hasn't produced massively this year, but it was first time they've been moved and moved again, but still some flowers on these, very early flowering, so obviously they're gonna produce one more time, and at some point I need to remove all the shoots and discard that to get them strength for the next year. And here is the view of the allotment, the rest of the allotment, which is not in the original chicken coop, in the original chicken enclosure, sorry. So we have, this is a flower bed. I mean, always the square ones are always dedicated to flowers. So we've got some dahlias here, and almost bursting into flower, and some gladioli in the middle. I'm not sure if they're going to make it because the dahlia has gone completely berserk. And I've got some dill which was sown here but is struggling to find the space and light, and salvias which were donated by my good friend. Now Asparagus bed looks quite well established now, and well, we will be removing all that lettuce. It's quite easy to remove. Anything which is going into seed is going to be layered as a, maybe, I don't know, or we put it on a compost, or we put it in a sort of layer, green layer under the brown layer for the no dig. So as you can see further up there, I have planted half of the bed with leeks. I will be planting some more leeks as we harvested all the vilja and rocket potatoes yesterday, and we harvested some of the vilja in the middle bed, and there'll be more leeks, and I think I might this year interplant very young artichokes plants, which hopefully overwinter and become much bigger plants next year. So this is going to be my future artichokes bed. Now behind there you can see sweet corn, and the sweet corn is going quite well. I will show you the sweet corn I planted earlier in a minute, and that didn't have as much luck. So these have been sown quite late, and I think that sometimes there's no absolutely reason to sow everything so early. Lesson learned. But I had no green. I have always an excuse. I had no greenhouse. So this is the second asparagus bed, and it's sprouting more now of the green shoots. So I'm hoping that this will establish itself well as well. You see, they are new spears appearing everywhere, and there's a few carrots there, and I think beetroot, which came with the compost when I was moving it around, and I let them grow and I harvest them today. So this is a major change. We have now covered all that mess, removed the rubbish, which has just been moved over there for the time being, but it's preparing for the next year. And as you can see, my little hollyhocks from seed, I will be having some flowers. So that's really, really lovely. And I interplanted my cucumbers with nasturtiums, and I really don't know which variety is which. I quite like the way they climb up that jute support, and we have some cucumbers in there, so I'll need to have a look later on. And the courgettes are going great guns. These are the stripy, I think they're called Romanesco, like the broccoli, but I will check that. So I've got 2 of those. There's a pile of soil from the rat potatoes which we harvested yesterday as well, and that will be reused. So these are my yellow courgettes. Again, I would say at least one of them needs urgent harvesting. This must be a pumpkin, and again all the labels got mixed up. I know it's pumpkin because it's spreading quite violently. So what else do we have here? The patty pans. Let's have a look. Yeah. Can we see them? Yeah, patty pans. And the green courgette. Oh, are these? No, these are normal green courgettes. And then we've got some yellow patty pans. Yellow patty pans. No idea what that is. This one again, nothing yet. And these are little round courgettes. I don't know if you can see, the fruit is setting just there. So it is looking fairly glorious, I would say. And I have to say the loganberries and tiberries, I don't think we're going to have much fruit this year. They have been sort of trying to establish themselves, and I hope next year is going to be better. They're setting off minimal amount of fruit at the moment, but they're going okay. They'll be fine. It's just the time. However, the thornless blackberry is fantastic, and I have tied it up so it looks a little bit tidy on that other fence. And these are my glorious flowers. We harvested whole bouquet yesterday of the sweet peas, and the nasturtiums are cascading, although they're supposed to be dwarf, but they're cascading down. Some dahlias in each bed, some nicotiana, some zinnias. We're starting with a little bit of cosmos here, and again more wonderful nasturtium in my herb bed. So the herb bed has got loads of lovely sunflowers and thyme and rosemary and marjoram, and some of the stuff is really self-sown. So from this side we have some chervil coming up, little wisps of chive, lots of parsley, self-sown poppies, which I absolutely love, so I'm going to leave them. The perpetual cabbage, which I've been harvesting all the time. It really tastes nice. And some common sorrel, which I love. So we have done some sowing of that instead of the red vein, which looks lovely, but it's not that tasty. Now the old chicken enclosure, and here is a bit wild. This is where the broad beans was, and I'm having some raspberries coming through from the other side, and I'm not going to just get rid of them. I'm actually going to let them grow, and at the end of the season I'm going to cut them shorter, take the roots out and replant them in the future edible forest. Well, self-sown potatoes are here. We're going to be clearing it up very shortly from everything. My sweet corn, this is what I wanted to show you. My sweet corn, how unfortunate, it's got completely overrun again with the potatoes, which was did self-seed, and that needs to be sorted out. Then the calendula is still behind there, and I will still harvest a few more heads of that. So next to my autumn fruiting raspberries here, we have a little lavender hedge, and then Perpetual Spinach coming up, and Attica root parsley is just sprouting, and they need to be watered again because obviously the heat is not helping out. And this is parsley and Swiss chard bed, and again I need to harvest some of that. And very unruly, my supposed to be like a nursery bed, but it's just overrun with Aquilegia at the moment. So fruit cage, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I've got quite loads of lovely white and then further down red currants. There is some black currants. Again, I'll be taking cuttings of all of these plants. And we still have some gooseberries on this bush. So here is more carrots and some parsnips, and I don't think they're doing greatly. They've been watered and fed. These are my tumbling toms. The blueberries, not sure. There is few blueberries on them, as you can see, but they're not yet ready. Some of them getting bluer, but if there is such a word. Some a lovely daisy like plants, I can't remember the names, in container. These are the leeks I'm going to be planting on later on. I had to do something with them, so I put them in a root trainers. This lovely thing, sorry, let me come up out of shadows. This lovely thing is a hyssop, and this is the main square flower bed, which have masses of salvias. There is verbascum, which recovered from being eaten by the caterpillars. So there you go. Caterpillars had a meal, and they coming up with the side shoots really strongly now. And some, what else is there? Dahlias, very strongly. The Verbena Bonariensis towering over. Some more, how you pronounce that, Han? Is it, oh, I can't remember. There's another plant which self-sown and is going so well. Let's have a look at that. So this is the name I can't remember. Every time I forget how to say that, but I will put the obviously notice. I planted some asters for autumn, and yes, it's looking okay. And this is probably my favorite bed for some unknown reason. And why is that? Because it's got a complete mixture of things. So there is some beetroot, there is some celery, sorry. It's got some celery. It's got my favorite herb, which is dill, and has got some celeriac. There are 3 varieties of beetroot here. The usual chogia, the stripy one, the yellow one, and I don't think it's boltardi, the red one, but it might be. More sunflowers. These are the sort of more traditional yellow ones. And there is few of them which were the giant Russian, which was supposed to be 2-3 meters high, so they're still growing, but the little ones are multi-headed ones. So don't know if you remember, but this is a bed with chilies and peppers, mainly chilies. I think it's only 1 pepper here, and I can say now for sure that they are setting fruit. If you can see, there are, things setting on the, on the peppers and chilies. And here I think these 2 rows are chilies, and the last one might be a pepper. And they recovered from that onslaught of whatever it is that decimated the leaves completely. And another bed here, which is my outdoor tomatoes. Well, I'm very pleased with those. They have grown so strong. Just let me show the size of the stems. You know, and they have been completely sort of defoliated from the bottom. And we have some tomatoes growing on them. I think they had loads of, considering this is actually container, this is not a normal no-dig bed, because I started with some containers and then we went into a no-dig. So considering that this is container, had masses of nitrogen and well-rotted manure, and then now I'm feeding them potash, which is, you know, there's plenty of banana skins here and ash, and they're now setting off fruit, so I'm pleased with that. There's no sign of any disease. If I just, this is again just a view of the field. I don't think Ace, when it's lovely and sunny, he's happy munching on grass. He doesn't want to come to see us because he doesn't need anything from us at the moment. He's very friendly, but he doesn't really come for the sweets as often as he normally does. So that's the other side of these tomatoes. And I still have to sow something here. I've sown twice basil, but it was just too dry, never germinated properly. But these are this is the other bed of the peppers, and they are definitely setting now. I know comparing with some is probably miserable things. I think this is the citrina, which comes in sort of yellow, and I'm not sure. I think this could be, is that California Wonder? Is it any, lots of flowers. I can see the fruit just setting on that one, and interplanted with some marigolds. And further up here I still have some cauliflowers to come. These were late planted and they were very close, so I'm having great hopes for that. More celeriac in those, few celeries. I mean, look at the size of this spinach. Hasn't bolted. It's not bolted, it's just enormous. That needs to be harvested as well. I thought I finished with the normal spinach, but this is some more coming up. And this was replanted after my onions, so I've got dwarf yellow beans up the front. And then on the other side, these are the blowshocker peas. And these lovely things will be planted today in the final location. So right to the back we have 2 beds of beans and peas. So I think there's about 3 varieties.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, Nigel just got stung by the bee. So there is some climbing and dwarf beans here, and some peas ready to be harvested, and we have some peas and mange too. I leave that mange too because actually it makes a nice pea. It's just not as sweet, but it does make actually nice eating pea. And this is a bed which I had lettuces. There's a couple of remnants of this here, and the leeks are just there. So Yes, I've got to find what happened with Nigel. Lemon tree recovered beautifully from the winter and looking absolutely dead. And in the polytunnel, how are you? How are you, Nigel? What's happened? You got bitten?
Caught by a bee.
How bad is it? Well, I think the lesson of the story is to make sure you suit it when you go out there, or at least have something with long sleeves. Because they knew, they just settling in, and I just think they do not want to be disturbed, even if you have the best intentions. So as we hear, I'm brewing some, there's actually seaweed food in that container behind, some more parsnips and some broccoli. I think it's Romanesco type, the kind of fancy green ones, to be put it eventually somewhere. And some cabbages, I think, winter sort of cabbages. And we did polytunnel tour, so I'm not going to bore you. I'm going to put at the end, Nigel did some harvesting yesterday. We got another 2 beautiful aubergines, but just want to show you the progress on those tomatoes. And I have to say, well, that to me that's a thing of beauty, because I've got at least 3 trusses on this, starting to getting orange. One of the tomatoes is actually red, and here is the fruit of the Black Russian. So we're going to finish a couple of things here, and then we're going to go home. But I just wanted to share this because I think July is quite glorious, and we're harvesting things and we see the fruit of our hard work. And I hope I'll see you next week